calling the shots. Guess who be running the show? Fuck with me though, making me feel like the bad guy.
What is up, guys? So, yeah, the car is back. There's a lot of good, a lot of great, like, amazing stuff that came from Fabrication. There's a few things I'm disappointed in. And I keep seeing more of them, you know, it's kind of like it's all in the finishing details, right? But I'll let you guys decide for that. I'm actually going to ask you what you think the value is of a few items. Just I'll be like, oh, what do you think of this and this and this? And just give me a numerical value of what you think, not including materials, I always pay for those. Purely labor cost for a certain part of the car. And the reason why is because I got a couple bills and I'm like, nah. And let me kind of explain it a little better because, you know, there's a reason why I've always had, you know, a lot of tools and stuff. I can build stuff here, and I love building stuff here. It's fun. This is a garage, like you can do anything here. But, you know, just like this piece I had done by the exhaust fabricator off of my original piece of cardboard. So this, you guys might have seen a few videos ago, and I mean, it was a decent mock-up, and then when he made it, it's small, but that's fine. I can modify it to make it work. But just in the last 10 minutes, I did this hole here and this hole here, and I'm going to grind it out, but it's too late. Then I have to do a little edge here, and then I did the hole there. So, point is, that took me all of 10-15 minutes. And I'm very taken back when I see someone hand a bill and it's like, this was this many hours. I'm like, if I'm doing like technical shit and it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, how can it be 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 20 some odd hours for these things? I'm like, this just clearly, someone's slacking, or the pace of their job is just not what I've come to expect. So here we are underneath the car, and this is our CWA 400 water pump, and you can see how we did the brackets. So I ran up to the frame rail, and I said, okay, we've got one bolt hole here. I'll do a little rubber isolation. I'll do rubber isolation on the bottom end. What I would have liked to see is a bracket that wasn't just a single angle bracket and then another angle bracket. So this to me is very odd. I would definitely have taken the width, cut that down to about half, and then I would have done some structure to it with triangles, and definitely cut out another section for width. It seems like that's just not really how you'd want to do this. You're losing all your strength and you're only adding weight. So, very confused on that aspect of it. And then the other thing that really got me, and I said, what in the world is this? Give me a second, I'm shimmying. There we go. So, I've got this really beefy steering rack adapter that we did. There's a June bug freaking out next to me. And so, it's going to be a little hard to point to this, but it's going to be this guy right here. We were supposed to do a drop bracket to here and go to this guy, but instead we did this little tiny bolt, which is like an M6 at the base of this thing. And yeah, a little bit of rubber isolation and the bottom of the pump. So this came out really, really nice with the layout that I came up with. So I had him rotate and clock the compressor cover, and then we have to like cut a notch in. So there's a little notch in here you have to cut in, and it looks like it worked great. So the angle we got was vertical. Our electrical connector on the back end right here came out very nice, and all the angles brought us away from, if you look way back, kind of here's the front of the vehicle, it's way up there. So it's deceivingly far up, which is pretty cool, which means we have plenty of ground clearance, and it's directly off the lower radiator, which means we're getting crazy good pressure head and as good of a location as could be imagined. So let's see if I can get you guys the other side, and then we're going to go to the exhaust and all the other stuff in the back end, which is downright freaking beautiful. So from this end, I did a 5/8 line adapter, which he welded that fitting that goes up to our stuff. Disregard these clamps here. I don't know why, but check this out. You guys know I have these. I've had these forever. I had all these in our box of, these are the constant torque Breeze. These things are amazing. And for whatever reason, he put this box across the center console on top of the keypad and like the lightly grafted in aluminum. I'm like, why in the world would you put that there? But either way, I'm getting distracted. So the water pump stuff, the layout came out really good. I'm very happy, and I think the location and the functionality of that's going to be fantastic. So that will be run off the 40 amp circuit from one of the, I believe it's the front PMU. So we'll see how that goes. All right, well, clearly I could not do that in one shot, but I'll give you guys a little idea of what I'm looking at here. So this anti-roll bar was a kit that I designed with, these guys are RJ Race Cars is the company name. So we'd already made the bar. There's a weird, this was made too long, this was supposed to be cut off. And I don't know why, but this here, so these mounts, let me get the lighting moved for you guys. This reinforced mount and this anti-roll bar and the frame rail, which is going to be very hard for me to get to because the car is not lifted up, are all made a certain way. And when this was designed, you know, we're trying to leave clearance for the Zerk fitting. So you've got a bronze bushing in here. And this is designed to be at ride height flat. So right now it's not flat, it's aiming down quite a bit. So it's telling me that the bar itself is very long and in links for ride height because everything else is in its correct plane. So what are we doing is kind of going over what we did, but this right here seems to be a little bit on the pricing end. I'm just trying to think what would you expect to pay for an anti-roll bar on a car that you've already designed. So I bought all the material, I bought these pieces, these were welded in by the shop. They did what looks like very nice welds. All the bushings and materials were pretty much brought to them. So I just want to see what you guys think that would cost and why. Be particular and take the time to answer that because I feel like it's a worthy question, right? So there's that, and then I'm gonna have to climb out and show you guys, but also the exhaust, I'm gonna have a whole video on that. That's just bonkers. It's beautiful, and the freaking height and everything is just perfect. But one thing at a time. These guys right here. So the end links were included. These are weld fittings, and then the frame. This is left raw, clearly, so that's going to rust. I need to clean that up. But there are pieces throughout the frame and whatnot that were designed in certain spots that I designed. And so they welded it together. and finish worked that. And I'm just trying to see what you guys would think the value of that is. So let me know in the comments and the reasoning why. And then I'm going to have to redo some of the work that was just finished. So we'll get to that when I can. And that's it for the rear sway bar. And the setup, so you guys can see part of the exhaust. And I'll move this away so you can kind of get an idea. That is a full 4-inch exhaust right there. So I think it's pretty spectacular. That Fabricator, amazing.
I know I'm calling the shots. Guess who'll be running the show? Fuck with me though, making me feel like the bad guy.